Some Gucci. It's the juice. It's looking nice, nice. YouTube, what's going on? We got it. We got things live. Much love. Wait a minute. 24/7 is... Yeah, if you're in 24/7, want to see the live Nerdout, come on over to the dedicated page for it. Yeah, we got sound for it. Things are looking pretty good though, huh? Sounds good in my Nerdout. Samo! Welcome. Exclamation welcome to all the new lions. Exclamation shout outs to all the OGs that have been here getting it done. Yeah, what a week. Jedi's Kirk, Paul CT, Latisse, Raptorus, Aurum. Show my NFT lion. It's on my other computer. Like, I don't even logged into any of that stuff right now. I got a baseball player and one that's like tailor-made for Houston. It's beautiful. Yeah, he probably will want it. But he got a nice one too. Yeah, RPM. That's a good deal. 83rd. 83th. Yeah, welcome. Cool Bricks. Rothbots, how you doing? Blaze Alec. Individual level has 2 lines. Oh, Samo. Yeah, yeah, yeah. Yeah, Arcadias. Yeah, so like Golden Pocket or 75786, something like that. Samo. Yeah, that's a good deal, RPM. Yeah, those of you who've been holding out for TradingView. This is our moment. Right? It's always our time. Lion's going to lion. What do I see on BTC? I see us holding right now anyways. This range POC too. Yeah, we're outside value area high. Right under it right now. That's not looking too hot to you. Let's get the color. There you go. Yeah, you might be able to see it better without TPO on there. Even though this is a TPO stream, right? Looking good with that POC way up here, right at value area high, and back testing it. Not too bad. I see maybe a little bit of resistance when we get up around this area. What color is good for this? Good enough. We got enough boxes on here though, don't we? We got bad highs though. One of the main topics of today. Yeah, somebody was asking about fibs. We haven't had any TA all day, unless you were in PSG, right? Held that 786 nicely. A 4-hour golden pocket bounce. It looks pretty busy now, doesn't it? Let's see, is that the right one? Yep. We're gonna get that FRVP out of here too. It is single prints. That's single prints all through here, all the green. But 4-hour, it doesn't really have as much bearing to me. Ooh, I just erased the poor highs. That's a new template I was able to put together. A little bit quieter for a minute. Yeah, we're still holding higher lows. A little bit of a clean right there. Not the best low, but we swept it. I'll take it. Yep, got that. And we got this. So that's like the real important thing to consider. And it depends on what your belief is in the weekend price action, but we have CPI coming up next week, don't we? Thank you, Moon Farmer. Mike is crispy. It sounds better. Thank you. That's the Mandalay fib, 69420. I don't have my custom settings in here right now. I was working on some other things with just like the stock settings kind of, and was able to throw in like 7.5. What music do we have on Twitch stream? Because I have 3 different streams running. No music. Are you guys have no music on Twitch? It's not going to be no more KIMBA. He's moving and he's got a lot of things going on. Yeah, we need some music vibes. I need to get my shiznit together, right? Dude, I have no musical control. Exclamation YouTube for the 24/7 stream. At least you can get the KIMBA gang music. Yeah, I'm sorry. I have one song and I can't like it. I'm afraid I'll break OBS if I do that. Double rate cut. Who heard my new intro song yesterday? That was dope. psycho hitting here without music. Please turn on your own music, unless we can get something, something fired up. I know it'll slip through the cracks in my own empty head if I don't. Yeah, if I don't make a note of it right now. Nitrogen, no. KIMBA will be back. He's got a lot of things going on. Moving, a lot of traveling, it seems. J-Bucks, Fan City. You're right about that. PPI Week, I do like that song. I'll sit here with no music with you and just talk. You get to be lulled to sleep by my voice. That's the vibes anyway, right? We got some people here for the poor highs and everything nerd out, poor and weak. I'm psyched about it. I love this topic. I don't know about y'all, but liquidity. XLR, shouts to you. Thomas Casper. Yeah, bad swing highs, swing. Yeah. What makes poor versus weak? That's a great question. Kutchoy, I'm poor and weak both, so, just take a screenshot of me and you'll find it. Poor is flat TPO. Yep, I'm gonna turn TPO on in a moment. But poor is referring strictly to a TPO characteristic. And that's session based. Oh, I want to get the other one. You see I have 5 TPO indicators and then like 3 or 4 other ones. Somebody likes TPO, do they not? Ew. So if you take advantage of or have taken advantage of that TradingView deal, that is one way that you can track poor highs and poor lows. Their built-in indicator puts TPO profiles right on the chart for you. All nice. You just tailor the settings to your liking. Depends on the asset, depends on the ticker or the pair. Even between like Binance and Coinbase, it's going to be different as far as your row size. And for what I'm showing you here, our range, I used to do much smaller rows as far as just attributes of TPO. But we're looking at the profiles and they give you a lot of clues. But mostly when you're concerned with highs and lows, you're looking for something either the tops or the bottoms. And let's see here. You get it pretty big. I'll get this off. Get my brush on here. Change the color. So right here, right down here at the bottom, So that's the flat bottom that Curvies was saying. And that definitely is a good way to describe it, but it doesn't have to be completely flat. Yeah, this is pretty large row size. This is, I believe, $60 rows. No Mama's Way. How's it going? Cat Float. Me poor, you know poor. 83rd. Yeah. Yep, so what makes a good high or low? In auction market theory or profiles, that's called excess. When you have more than two or more, by the book, two or more unpaired TPOs, or just vertical TPOs that don't have a second row or anything additional, that's called excess. This is 4 blocks, so that's good. That's called excess. At a high, it's a selling tail. At a low, like down here, all the way to the bottom there, that's a buying tail. But that's excess down there also. It's just excess. It's representative of a completed auction or a finished auction. Market doesn't have to go back, and a lot of times you'll see that in even if there are some close highs or lows in other sessions, those intraday traders look at this, and that is, at least in the near term, potential for movement in the opposite way. And that represents wicks in the form of candles. Yeah, 3,000 indicators. I can't get my candles back on. Where are you? There it is. So that doesn't look like a low right there, but that's a different session. This is a different session than where this low formed. And that was a major bounce. We were talking about that one yesterday. Yep, it's a Gucci low. Yeah, Thomas Casper. Gaboo! And we got a whole new tool that gives us little arrows when we have a good or a bad low. What I'm talking about though is poor highs and lows, which are distinct to TPO. And when you hear the term weak, it's a structural attribute. You can have a good TPO low, but it still is a weak low or high, like what we have here. And that was just marking the POC. But right here we have a nice selling tail. And we can look at it right here. You have 4 blocks. And how big is that? Probably 200 bucks. $250 almost. What's your threshold? I mean, that's like 1/4%, not even. I'd say $100 is too close. And if we were to hide TPO right here, at that point in time, this was off of the daily open. So it's a separate session, even though it's super, super close to where that low was. Or where that high was formed, it didn't break it. So that's weak. It's in a separate session. The blue is showing initial balance. Muscle Trader, shout outs. Yep. Yeah, I'm Mandalo. I'm not Hannah Montana, but shout outs to both of you. It is subs. That shout out Houston. No mama's way. Inky, how you doing? Yep, so this is unbroken. It's in two separate sessions, but you have to question, where do you think there are stop losses to anybody that entered a position here or here or even here? Like, that's not especially good right there either. That's perfectly equal right there. So like anybody that got in on that little retest right here, they lucked out on this wick. But why do you think it came back? Because that was relatively weak. I had to flex. You don't want to see it. I'll break the camera. Yeah, and that's a structure thing. Weak is a structure description. So, bad. Bad is a loose term for any structural weakness. It can be for TPO, like loosely based, because believe it or not, a poor high is also weak, but not all weak highs are poor. If that doesn't make sense, we can look at it here. Like, that's a good TPO high, but in a separate session, we have a very close high. So that's only weak, it's not poor at that point. And market often has a tendency to go clean the liquidity where the stops are resting beyond these levels. You know, even though it held here, came and cleaned it up. If the market is still moving, I mean, this looks like it was during US session, bouncing off of VWAP, or yeah, daily VWAP. Kept on driving, and then failed auction. But up here, that is what you would call a weak high. So several tests of a level very close to one another without breaking the level. So the liquidity grab. That's weak. And it's just pure structure. You could call this down here weak. You can have them in low time frame. You can have them in high time frame. TPO is really mostly focused on 30 minutes and daily time and daily sessions. So 30-minute periods, daily sessions. Weak can be in any time frame. I throw on TPO, and you know, you have this little arrow that's telling you that that is poor also. And it's pretty big row size, so like, don't jump on me if you like smaller rows. I like small TPO tick size Poor is not always flat, curvies, but it can be. Yep, either can be revisited. It represents an unfinished auction in either case. But TPO good in a weak market structure can be a short-term reversal. I know that sounds kind of confusing. I'll show you some examples though. Yes. This is $60 rows right now, so in Coinbase it's like 6,000. I actually like a little bit smaller, but for demonstration purposes, you can't see the profiles otherwise. Like they disappear when you zoom out. So it's pretty nice. So back in a couple years ago when we were doing a lot of TPO things, you know, $20, $25 rows was really, really nice. It gives you a lot of detail. It's very accurate with your points of control and whatnot, your value areas. But that's like 1% of the price when you're at 20,000. Now, 20 or 25 bucks, like that's very, very close. And if the price is $110,000 or, you know, what is it right now? $111,000, $40 of difference or $50 of difference for two. Yeah, RPM. It'll mark it for you on the TradingView one. Also, yeah, that's the CoinWise indicator, but the TradingView will mark poor. Also, if it's the flat level, and I didn't even get to that yet, but the point that I have is that when you want to finish auction, you want it to be definitive. And so swing fails, these things that are forming nice wicks at lows, are often a good qualifier to at least have the bias that business has been concluded at that point in time. I like the lettering. I like the letters, but the blocks just show up very nicely to demonstrate. I'd usually like to have it a little bit less in your face. So if I'm using the blocks, I'll actually often do it like a little bit more opacity. And even still, that's kind of excessive. But it doesn't show up as nicely for you all. Yep, I got a couple other little tricks up my sleeve in just a minute, but let's just finish defining poor versus weak, and then we'll look at some cool examples. Yeah, I made some videos in the past on this, and many of you probably have seen something that I've made before. It's all for the community though. And so I'm so thrilled for the opportunity to share this with you here and be a part of KIMBA Gang. Yeah, thank you all for supporting me. Thank you for giving me the opportunity to share and vibe out with my lions. Thank you to KIMBA. Thank you to all the people behind the scenes. Yeah, amazing, amazing place. And we've been doing this in PSG for a long time, so shout outs to PSG also. Shout outs to all the OGs. Much love to all of you. Yeah, shout outs Cage, shout outs Husty, shout outs to all the mods and admins, developers, everybody. Shout outs Bytesore. Shout outs Coke Zero, Maestro, yeah. Ready, Chicken Milkshake, Jedi's Kirk, XLR, Raptorist. Yeah, Coke. Let's go. Calling noob. Dirties. Okay, so poor. Yeah, I get so excited on chat that I'm losing focus on the task at hand. That's what you guys are here for. Shout out to Namgod. The pour, you need 2 or more vertical unpaired TPOs at a high or low for it to be good. If it's less than 2, so like in this profile, there's 1. That's still poor. So this is poor. This is poor right here. That's a poor, even though it doesn't look, well, you can't see it all that visibly right there. It is poor. Poor highs. There's a poor low right there. That's quite a poor low. It doesn't mean that it has to get cleaned up immediately, though. And I'll speak on that once we finish defining it. But that's poor. Good. This is good. Right there, TPO good. And I'll hopefully be able to clarify why that was technically TPO good, but still broke. For one, it was on a weekend. And look at that. Pour, and then follow it with another pour right there. But I wanted to see some more lows. Yeah, that one was TPO good. Can you see that there's 2 TPO blocks right there? And then you have to use like a microscope if you're not full screen. Good, good. Everybody kind of clear or more clear about what TPO good is or TPO poor? That's good. Hella good. Doesn't mean that it's done forever, but it can be a reversal. Definitely in a session. Bad is for poor or weak. It's just kind of a loose term for an area that has a likelihood to be cleaned. There we go. Yeah. You're welcome. You're welcome. Yeah, it's a little bit confusing. I know. I've been through it. It's something that you have to either ask somebody or nerd out super hard and try to learn on your own. And you know, when it's easily explained, clarification is beautiful. You know, you can focus on nerding out on some of the other things that we can talk about today. So we know what poor is. We know at least some foundation of what is weak. To me, that is not the greatest, but it's TPO good. And there is some subjective nature to it. I'm just throwing a trend line to visually depict that it has not been broken. It's just a series of lower highs in this instance. This is in that session, but it's not the lows of the session. So you can have weak levels form. Yeah, we need those trend lines a different color, don't we? That's weak. That's garbage. What happened when we broke that? Can remove that trend line. You know, it's just a support resistance flip right there. It held for a little while, and as soon as these people went underwater, it just became resistance. That was in a session, and if you pull this line all the way over to where those were, profile can give you clues as well without having to try to figure it out on candle structure alone. So this right here is called a ledge, not a wedge. There's a single perm right there too. That's pretty cool. Teeny tiny one. But this, so it's a shelf. You can have ledges in volume as well, and it has kind of a similar effect, though they can form in higher time frames. And they can be levels of support and resistance and are often areas that can flip their roles if they are broken. Yep, so in a lower time frame, that's kind of representative of it. But you see, like, if you have a series, and I like at least 3 or 4 kind of in a line, you got to track it over to where the candles are. But if it hasn't been broken, then that is also a weak level that the TPO profile can kind of indicate. And you have those happen a lot on the weekends. Like, I mean, I don't think that that's a weekend, but that's a ledge right there. You'll see them like very frequently on the weekend. That's not even one, but right here. And then kind of right here. That's a pretty nice one. That's a nice one, but that's a weekend Sunday. With a poor high, good low. How would I trade or enter a poor high or low? Personally, I like to wait for the sweep of it. But when structure changes. Yeah, and it's not anything like fancy. Fernand's, what's up? Isotashi. Yeah, it's not anything fancy. It's you're applying some of the things that you've learned over time, just using another tool to kind of confirm it, or to identify that it is in fact a not great level or not. Yeah, so let's find somewhere that we had a poor high and look for what can happen if it breaks, or a poor low. I just want to look for a good example of this. Okay. You might know where I'm going with this. Oof. We had 2 opportunities to talk about this. This is like 2 weeks ago now. Hugh Hunt, how are you doing? Let's go. So here's our session. Here's that next session. There's the 3rd session. Technically, oh, it's not. Let's get that out of here. And let's get this one on here, I think. That's volume. Oh my goodness, we just like broke the whole thing. So I'm going to hide that in just a second, but I want to do a bit of a rewind. Let's see if TPO regenerates. Yeah. Oh, it is Macaulay. I'll pay out the points in a minute. Um, so in this session right here, you have, kind of a weakness, you got VWAP, you have all types of confluence for whatever we're doing, but we traded back below with a retest of weekly VWAP. That's not too Gucci. We cleaned that even with not the greatest high, but you have a sweep candle. So in these like sweep structures where you're cleaning something else, like this, so we're pretty much looking to clean this. With this candle that we have right here, we broke it closed above, but that next one cleaned this one. So if it's going to be technically poor, that has a higher probability of holding than if it were reversed orientation. So like, let's say right there, because you had that downslope without a liquidity grab. At least the early shorters got stopped out, and then any of the continuation longs are getting trapped up here. This is Coinbase, but still, like, the theory is applying across the market. I'm more talking about the yeah, Twitch and Greg, thank you. Unleash, shout outs to you. Yeah, I'm great, Hugh Hunt, thank you. Dog, good morning. Or thanks, Twitch and Greg. Big shout outs to you, brother. Manipulation. Let's go, let's go, let's go. Yeah. Yeah, Cage. It got cleaned. You had some, even if it's minimal, but you have some people are trapped, and that's engulfing. Like we I think looked at that one before. Early in the session too. First couple hours. So Asia strong into Asia open, and then bloop. Fall below VWAP, retest it. It's not great, but this is our new session right here, and this is marking out our session. It generated for the new session. So value area is marked without all the TPO. That's pretty cool. We can still see our candles. Beautiful. Cowboy Surfer, yeah, how you doing? What's loud? I'm loud if you loud. I know YouTube is loud. Sounds good there. Well, there's your weak level. And was it poor? I don't remember at this point. I think it was. Yeah, because it was in that session. You skip forward a couple bars. Oh, wait, I went way too fast. That candle that we broke, that ran every person that shorted or sold stops and triggered breakout buys or longs. Again, I understand that this is Coinbase. Don't be mad at me. They're not shorting or longing. Bitcoin can be traded in many ways, and other places kind of have effects on one another across the whole market on the same asset. We loud then. Yep, 83rd. 83rd. I have to figure out how to say your name right. Big cheers. Start breaking these. Aggressive buying, you know, is probably fueling some people's stops as well, but that's a big volume bar. You got a single print form as well. Yeah, that's a single print. That's a single print right here. They grabbed it and grab and go. Good low. Retest. And I'll kind of get around to the trading question. Oh no, that's what we wanted. KIMBA box. How's that 7.5? $618 to $786 for the Lions who haven't been around for KIMBA boxes. Pretty nice. Yeah, big thank you to Twitch and Greg. Didn't know we have an 886 box, did we? That's the 886 to the 926 box. I'm just like a degenerate. I'm not trading the 914 or the 926, but I still mark it for reference. Usually 886 to the 926 or anything beyond really the 786, and it's like, in my book, it's pretty weak. But when they hold it, we want structure to change. Yeah, you want structure to change, and that's kind of your trigger. 886 in that box? No. 618 to 786. That was pretty nice, but break above, trigger stop losses or breakout buying. If it's a bullish move, form a single print, it's a major imbalance. It's a pretty common outcome when weak or poor levels are broken. The other pretty common outcome is just a swing failure pattern. And that was weak, that was poor, that is a poor level, it's a weak level. You can see that without TPO. I know, I'm sorry, I'm going back and forth, but you got a low, higher low, whole bunch of higher lows without any sweeps. All through here. Start to break one, you start to trigger potential cascade, run into other people's stops or whatever. What info came out that moment? I think it was, I don't know. I can't remember. It was probably I remember that it was a news thing. And we were like, Kachoya. Yeah, that was a big. Yeah, 3 weeks ago at this point. 2 weeks ago? Yep. But came and broke that without a single 30-minute close below the lowest low. So that's a swing failure pattern right there. Oh yeah, that was Jackson Hole, I think. Yep, shout outs to you, Dre. Thank you. Nip. Yeah, you remember? Yeah, Jackson Hole. Jackson Hole. MEXC 83. How you doing? Yeah. But broke above that. That grabbed a single print too. So clean that. They were holding it. And we'll probably do something on single prints exclusively at some point, but as you may be kind of piecing together if you haven't done so before, is a lot of these things are intertwined. Yeah, not only that, but this is our open outside of value. Pretty nice to be able to do this now. Yeah, we opened outside of previous day value area. Failed at the previous day point of control. Do you see me setting the stage for something? And this is TPO. It works on volume as well. Yeah, big cheers. I'm glad to hear it, Mex. Yep. So it didn't even wait for a retest trigger. It just plowed through full rotation. This is a value rotation. And it's especially nice when it occurs based off of previous day levels. It's called an 80% setup. Now let's see if I can turn the right indicator on. It did not close outside of the volume value area, but it still completed a full rotation. So a full rotation is value area to value area rotating through. If we open outside, consecutive candle closes back within are the trigger. And it kind of did it anyway, even if I turn TPO off. So our open was here. We fell outside of value, reclaimed it. Actually held it and reclaimed it. And so that can technically be a trigger for Danny Balat. Shout outs to you. Thank you. That's a trigger for a rotation. Yep, and I've talked about full rotations before quite a few times. But if you are unfamiliar with the value rotations, I've kind of laid it out to you. Yep, failed at the point of control, fall outside of value, and reclaim. Rotation is a common outcome. Yep, grabbed an imbalance, clean, weak levels. Yeah, so to get back to your question as to what do we do when there are poor lows, and you need some context as well. Thank you, Danny. Big shout outs to you. Yeah, Curvies, making it rain. We got such a great community, such generous lions supporting all the people here learning. Much love. Much love. Amazing. Single print grab and go. Well, let's say that we had a poor level, and I'll just go back to current. Like here. Or like here. I like looking at this one, especially with the context that we bounced from support. Technically 113 is pretty much resistance, but I mean, I don't know. From a poor or weak level, holding it is indicative of absorption. You could pull up heat maps. I'm not going to go through 20 minutes of heat maps to show that there was stacked orders down here, but I am confident that you would see some buying at this level. Something stopped it. You don't need to have TPO to see that that's poor or weak or just not good. Right here, you have a bunch of candles at a low, even if it's not like the low. But that helps to give context as well, because you have a low, a higher low with a nice buying tail. You know, that's really the invalidation of the people that are looking for a pullback right here. And I'm pretty sure I remember this being like right at the golden pocket front run when we were streaming this, what, yesterday? It was definitely on this pull, 7.5 holding it, and then on the big fib, it was like just barely front running the golden pocket right there. That's 886. I mean, the wick is. What you talk about, Coke Zero? V001. This is? Yeah. I bet you loaned that. Coke Zero is an amazing trader. Yep. Yep. Shouts to you, bud. Shouts PSG. Shouts Coke Zero. Shouts Danny. Shouts Cage. Silverwolf. Husty. We're missing Damon in here today. We got so many amazing people in this community. Love it. All right, so this, we established that that's poor, but it had some confluence of Fibonacci. It had some confluence with volume. You know, even if we just go like this, that was kind of a gap right there. Not super great, but it's structure. And 108 has been, you know, 107, 108, it's been a pretty important level for a while. Yeah, look at that. I want to see where this close is. Just for extra confluence. Right there. Sorry, I'm taking a tangent for a an indulgence. Yeah, not all that significant with that component of it, but definitely has some, probably some VWAP implications. We'll go from the low. Bands, at least deviation bands. And you probably pull a profile from that low. I mean, I can make an argument for that. Yeah, it's a TPO stream and I'm doing volume profile. You see what I like though? I like both of them, and the more you're able to read and put together, the more edge you have. So we fell outside, and that wasn't the value area low at that point. It probably moved, because the value areas will move through the session based on the volume or the time that transacts. But it held this and began to change low time frame structure. So there we broke the structure at the lows. So there's your high, higher high. It broke out of this little cluster down here. This will be fun. That's an anchor VWAP. Oops. Not bad. Not bad. Is that not making sense to a lot of people? Is it only making sense to me? Shout out to you, Dennis. Mark. They get point of control right here. So we break the structure and start to trade above point of control. We're looking for strength in this buyback. But once we have held and pull this, like that's another higher high with a higher low. And so looking for pullbacks is not a bad idea, but more appropriately, here we definitely have a higher time frame, higher low. So the conservative people or anybody that missed the boat whenever this happened, yeah, I mean, I think most people were awake during this time, unless you were in Asia. That was weak. Cleaned it. I remember this clearly last night. But we made a higher high. So people are still looking for pullbacks. And in the greater context, if you go to a much higher time frame structure, it definitely is an uptrend. So if market's in an uptrend, and even if you go into like kind of the little range here, that's what we were talking about the other day. You know, it's almost kind of forming a channel. Not exactly, but you could use a trend line for sure. But holding that and changing structure, another higher high compared to this one, and then a higher high compared to these highs. Like it's just following market dynamics. Ouster. Yeah, could be. I mean, it's the weekend, so you never know. We got some bad lows, we got a whole lot of bad highs also, and that's across many assets. So they might just mess around until CPI. Yep. But higher low, higher high, people are looking to get in on the pullback. It just is market psychology. And not to say turn your brain off, but simplicity often helps. So regardless of this being poor or weak, we change structure. We change structure right here. And actually that was poor. It got cleaned up. But that's kind of your little bit higher time frame. You go up to, you know, hourly or 4 hour. if it helps you to kind of visualize it a little bit more and ignore the TPO. I mean, that looks like we're still going up, doesn't it? So the trend is your friend until it ends. You hear that all the time if you watch any kind of analysis stream. That's the cliche of markets, isn't it? Weekly VWAP holding on the 4-hour basis. It's not bad. Yeah, so long story short, when you change structure, yeah, the people otherwise, like, I'm sure not that it is recommended, but there are people that will just look at several pieces of confluence and use that as an argument to defend their bias and look for entries even without short-term confirmation. So they'll place blind entries. Let's say this is a 7-5, which we established. Put blindfolds on if I'm talking about you. Let's see some blindfolds in the chat. Yeah. Patriots. Put the hoodie on. Jedi's Kirk. Yeah. Entry by now. Arcadias. I did not say that. Shout out to you, Rules. Thank you. 105 and then all season. Yeah. You know, manage your risk if that applies to you. If you're just winging it because you see like one indicator telling us that's a good thing to do. You have to just be willing to accept the consequences. Yep. Yeah. Not financial advice. Yep. I'm just doing analysis. That didn't say to do anything. And like that was in the past anyways. How about that? Sandwich between daily and weekly VWAP. Weekly VWAP looks pretty good right here through this end, doesn't it? Other than this little, hiccup. Thanks, Sophia. Thank you. How you doing? Yeah, we got levels on here. That's clean. Yeah, this indicator will mark settlement for CME also, like daily, weekly, monthly settlement. It's Gucci. That's awesome having some really cool tools. Nerd out. Is anybody unclear with poor highs and poor lows and weak highs and weak lows? Yeah, Bergix, Nixo, Bitesore, shouts to you. This looks beautiful. I know there's a lot of hard work that went into this, but everything is looking really, really nice. We just had to find the best way to make ourselves better with it. Yeah. Yeah, to be able to read the information that's in front of us, find the right combination for each and every one of our styles, because not everybody trades the same way. Yeah, Checkster. This looks so good, though. Yeah, you probably could throw in some other confluence. You might have seen that in the little bit earlier section. CBD, open interest, aggregate. Ooh-wee. Longs and shorts on Coinbase. It's aggregate. Let's go. Buy and sell. This is one of my favorites, actually. Let me see if it's... Oh, no, I gotta do this. This one. It's fun having some new toys to play with. Oh, I love it. I love getting to share it with you. It's on CoinWise. Dre. Coinwise.com. Yeah, there's some cool stuff here. But they have some really sick indicators. This is relative volume. RVol. It's like their buy and sell indicator. There you go. Where did I put that? Yeah, it's like an option. The divergence is one. You can tailor it to, yeah, it's everything in one. Like one of the sick things about it for, you know, all these tools and stuff is they have a lot of built-ins to one indicator. So if you don't juice up on the TradingView deal, you can actually have a whole lot and the two allotted indicators that you put in. Yeah. But the divergence is one you can kind of, you can do RSI and CVD, you can do, I think, MACD and a whole bunch of other oscillators. And you can even customize it. I think you can, like, I'm not smart enough for all that. I really don't use all that much, even if it looks like my screen is hella busy. But it does have a lot of customization options. You could change colors of stuff too if you like that. A cool thing that I like about it though is just the single prints. I think that's like that's worth it in its own. It's like a freaking awesome. But the RVol is just a version of the buy and sell that I have down here at the bottom. So that's buy and sell delta or buy sell. Yeah, so like Trading Light was so nice, and then like they lost some of their functions, and like this kind of is a great way to see single prints. Just that alone, it's amazing. Look at that. Houston, shouts to you. Yeah, I'm not trying to like do an advertisement or like shill stuff to you. This is just like sick tools. Yeah, and we're gonna be using it a lot. You saw that Kimba had it on his away screen. There's some real nice stuff here. But anyways, I'm just like excited. I'm a chart nerd. You guys already know that. So you see how there's different colors on my little squares on the screen? Some of you might have seen something this yeah. Yeah, Nick, so. Different colors. So that's the value area. This is volume. Super nerd out. Yeah, I'm just like doing it all, right? Yeah, so many customization options. It's amazing. Toggle things on and off. Yeah, I think they have a whole bunch of like really sick videos for it too. But the color right here, it's different on the days in different volume days. This is value areas. So your outlines in the stock form, in the standard form or the default, is orange value area high, value area low, and then the blue value area you can have the background, you can hide it, you can change the color or whatever you want. But on days that opens outside of value area, for the whole session, so like it open here, it's outside of value area, for the whole session, it'll paint your value area background and the outline of it a different color. And that means that the thresholds for an 80% rotation, or like that rotation play that I was talking about before, they have been met, or like the conditions have been met. And, it's a very high probability play. It doesn't mean that it's always going to happen, but it's something that a lot of people look at. And even like since Kimba started streaming EXO, we were talking about this, right? Full rotations. And a lot of the Lions probably knew about this long before. If you've been nerding out, man, I tell you, they are juice. Full rotates, exactly. Yeah. How about that full rotate juice? How about this one right here? It doesn't look like it's that big. I mean, that was probably a weekend. Yeah, that's Sunday into the monthly close. Kind of failure. Come back inside and then retest previous day value area. But it completed that full rotation from here to there in one candle. And then it did a whole bunch of like extra business on that day, didn't it? Oh yeah, that's because it was Labor Day. Yep, you can scan the chart. It just like automatically outlines it when the conditions are there to easily see it without having to do like all kinds of mental gymnastics to figure it out if those conditions are even there, right? Yeah, so that's super cool. Hey, hedge fund manager. Yeah, 80% highlight. Yeah, it's an option on there. Yeah, you can do sessions. You can like market for different sessions. See Cage doing that. A lot of you are doing that, and like that's really, really sweet for CME and traditional charting. This is on that CME stream. Yeah, there it is right here. So you can deselect it if you're like not trying to juice up, but right? I'm not saying that this happens every time. It just is nice to have something very visual and make it easy to recognize, especially if you're especially if you're not like super super experienced or already looking for something like that. It's like, why wouldn't you want something that can kind of say that there might be an edge there? Amazing. Yeah, you're gonna want that turned on for sure. But it's for volume. It's on volume. Yeah, you can extend the naked points of control. I made them super tiny, but that's what the red is here. It does it for TPO also. Yeah. I'm excited about this. I love it. Yeah, and then like all of the extra oscillators and order flow things, it's like really cool too. It just gives you like options to kind of tailor to your own style. It's pretty amazing. But back to the unpaid programming. Yeah, like I would, with time to like really, really trick this out the way that I would want, I would probably make my single prints orange. I'm just not trying to like change anything up. Did you miss an announcement? We got some new tools. That's for sure. Coinwise. CoinWise indicators. Yeah, they're gonna have some juicy education content too. But excited that we get to use these things on stream and that the community is able to also use it for their own trading. It's amazing. Like, I mean, look at this. There's a good high, and you got two naked points of control. Yellow is TPO, red is volume, and it grabbed that and just reversed earlier. Like, oh, I didn't quite grab it, and it formed a poor high at that point in time. So let's say that we're looking at the chart right here. Before that unfolds, you're like, oh man, we cleaned that field auction. Well, you have three things that are telling us that that might be a little bit of a risky trade. You have a poor high. You have a TPO, naked point of control, and a volume, session volume, naked point of control. Grab it, break structure, bye-bye. At least for then. We want to hold these lows if you're bullish. And it's weekend play time, isn't it? Is this live trading? We're just analyzing. Yeah, some cool tools. We were kind of like running through that. We were doing like a Nerdout session on poor highs and lows. Tanked, shout outs to you. Welcome. J-Bucks. Yeah, many of the people in this community are not as aggressive after US market sessions. Just the liquidity is less trustworthy. However, that doesn't mean that there aren't positions to find. CoinWise team, Dre. Yeah, we just have access to play with them. It's pretty awesome though, huh? Yeah, very exciting. Um, yeah, back to the point is many of the people in this community are less aggressive outside of US market sessions just for liquidity sake and the increased probability of round trips, but doesn't mean that, you know, you form price hits a level of interest that you aren't looking for it. Personally, I am doing the nerd out right now and it's after market session. So I'm not hyper focused on getting into a position right here. Yeah, I'm more of like a swing and not scalper just due to my own lifestyle. Yeah. But I am the biggest chart nerd that you can meet, other than maybe Cage Wins. Shout outs to you, bud. Full time, I'm a full time everything. No, I wouldn't say full time trader. Yeah, I do many other things, honestly. Yeah, it's always about work, but it's all for the family. Yeah, it's a nice lifestyle, and I have full-time traded previously, but there is some additional pressure to it as well. How you take profits? Well, I mean, what do you mean? Like when, like I don't. I get liquidated, dude. Um, in laddered. I kind of emotionally have taught myself that yes, you set up TPs, a ladder TPs. So you shave off percentages when it hits structural or other levels of interest for the opposite direction. Or you can hedge it, but I usually am just closing and hedging if I am being active with it or aggressive. Yeah, tanked. Yeah, I mean, this is an amazing place. Your fiance is a swing trader. Welcome. Exclamation welcome. Tanked. Scalping is scary. It is scary for your heart. Like many of us maybe inadvertently started the space scalping, just being emotional and market longing, market shorting, or just like buying. That's how I started, but it was with spot and I was like doing huge positions and freaking scalping. It was like dumb as shit. But we gotta all learn somehow, right? Yeah. You definitely will um take your lumps and move on. Yep. The resilient ones will um reap the rewards. But it's all about hard work. Yeah, laddering. Definitely the way to lose money. I mean, you can learn a lot taking a lot of positions, but just do extremely small size or just practice doing, testnet, the demo trading. So do analysis on it. Don't just be like, oh, it's a red candle. I'm gonna buy or I'm gonna sell because it's getting scary. And you're gonna feel those emotions, but just tiny, tiny positions and it'll give you a lot more experience. You'll know a little bit more about what to expect when that happens. If you do decide to, yeah, it's gotta be testing it. Yep, definitely a lot better than putting your life savings on the line or something like that, for sure. But this is all theoretical. All theoretical. Yeah, I could see, okay, so for my like 5 second analysis, I can see this. And then chopping around this whole area, maybe like cleaning that and just like being here all weekend and just doing like that kind of garbage. And then like that or like that. Yeah, I basically drew lines for everywhere. I don't really see it bleeding all the way down here, but this is analysis that is not financial advice. But how many of you have seen that chop like in that tight range through the weekend and then yeah, you just prepare for the different outcomes. But this, if it were to bleed down there, especially straight down, like that's an interesting idea to me. It doesn't mean that that is your trigger. Yeah, like that. Little failed auction, clean that. Um, maybe it just holds here and goes for those highs. Yeah, that's interesting. That's really the interesting level. And if we get something like that, That's interesting too. Because that's where we start to push towards the range margins. Yep. You juiced up as practice? That's awesome. Yeah. J-Buck, shout out to you. Yeah, that I mean that's kind of the idea. His generous giveaways afford many traders the opportunity to learn and practice. It's amazing. Big thank you to Kimba. Big thank you to everybody that makes this space possible, and big thank you to all of you who are participating and nerding out on a Friday night when you should be out at dinner or sleeping or spending time with your families, but you are doing the hard work to hear me shill some stuff. Yeah, you can get rid of a lot of tools, Coke, for sure. Yeah, shout out to you, hedge fund. Yeah, there, Coke Zero. Yeah, there is. I don't have all the details, but there is, and as soon as I have something available, um, I'm 100% gonna share it with y'all. I don't want to seem shilly, but I want everybody to have the opportunity to use these things. I think they're gonna have some sort of promotion as well. Yeah, I don't have all the details though. KCEX Trucks, Buzzcree, much love. Coke Zero, you made an account? Yeah, 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 yeah. Yeah, I feel you. Yeah, there's gonna be some things happening. Swooshy. Curvies, it does, doesn't it? It's dope. Yeah, a lot of people put in a lot of work on that. Amazing. Much love to all of you. Yeah, for sure, Coke Zero. Ready for classes, yeah. Yeah, we're gonna have a lot of nerd outs. Might have some any days that Kimba's unable to stream, at least some of US session. We'll have some streamers. Yeah, if he's tied up or something, me or Cage or Husty or whoever else is signed on, be spending some time with y'all. But I know that you want the man here, of course. Yeah, Grimes. Yeah, for sure, Dre. Yeah, absolutely, Aram. I enjoy doing it. I'm a chart nerd, I'm telling you. And for people to want to hear me talk with no music, I'll have the music set out for tomorrow. Altcoin Nerd Out tomorrow. And then it's a big day of events. It's going to be amazing. Shout outs to the exchanges that are supporting this. Shout outs to Kimba. Shout outs to the dashboard, exclamation dashboard. Shout outs to CoinWise. Look at these indicators. Gucci. That's Hermes. I don't know what's better than that, but it's better than that. Um, I'm poor. I still live in my mom's basement, so uh Jose Olive. Yeah. She let me come out of the basement for a stream. Um, but yeah, it's gonna be a great day. There's a talent show, there's a game show, we got a nerd out, Allcoin nerd out. Why do you think it's on the weekend? That's play, right? Hot pockets. I'm taking requests too. So it's like gonna be loose, but I'm gonna chart like whatever you guys want to see. I have a few that I am focused on, and then anything you know, other than like maybe your pump funds, but I'll chart like basically anything that you can chart just to play around. I just like love charting. It's gonna be an amazing day tomorrow though, even if you're not actively looking to long shit coins or short them. Yeah, weekends are altcoin traders' playground. Hi, Banshee. Shouts to you. Jay Sucks. Bobby Taxi Pedal. Shout outs. Thank you. RC. How are you doing? Thanks for joining. Hirak. Lion Cub. Let's go. Let's go. Chainlink. Yeah. Nix, are you going to be here tomorrow? Hasta la pasta, Kimba family. Yeah, hasta la vista. Happy Friday. Happy Friday to all of you. XLR, much love. Yeah, Nixo. Yeah, let's do it. Remind me tomorrow. I don't have my notepad on hand, but I'm happy to chart it. Oh, Kachoya Coke. That's a big Kachoy. 19 Turbo, yeah. Yeah. How you doing, brother? Hopefully chart. Yeah. I know. Exclamation watch time. All right, exclamation dashboard. I gotta get these kids in dinner and bed and bath and fun times. Yeah, for real. All right, so if you have anything, just make sure that you write it down and we'll answer anything that you want to see tomorrow. I went through a couple of scenarios. I am super, super thrilled to share this with you. What does Mando not do? You know what? Sleep, Nixo. Right, Mark. Much love. Much love, Nixo. Much love to all of you. Coke Zero. Big cheers. Super Dad right there as well. Unleash King. Much love. Cage wins. Thank you. Yeah, absolutely. Thrilled to be sharing some time with you, looking at some cool indicators and doing some charting. Amazing. Dennis, Jesse Papink, Kopi, Gaboo, Buzzcree, Jedi's Kirk, Latisse, Unleash, Moses Pug, Dennis. Yeah, if I didn't answer your questions today, just like write them down. Ask me tomorrow. I'll be here again, noon, New York time tomorrow. Swooshy, Dre, Eek. Yeah. 2 letters, 1 word. Dancing Kiwis. You're welcome. Yeah, thanks for being here. Yeah, we had a good showing today. Gilfriend, Twitching Greg. If I get any details on CoinWise, I will make sure to share them. I'll share it tomorrow, if not sooner. And I hope anybody that's trading be safe. Your owner. Yeah, I'm great. I'm great, 19 Turbo. Thank you. Glad to hear that you are too. iTor, shout outs. Yep. Thank you to Kimba. Thank you to BTCC. Yeah, promo code soon. I think I like heard rumblings of it. Yeah, they're working on it. I saw like a message or something. Yeah, it's pretty sick. Actorly. Yeah, I need to get my hands on these things. You lost a part? Hopefully I didn't cut out. My name is Longs. All right. See y'all at noon tomorrow, BTCC. Dashboard, exclamation dashboard. We're going to have a great day tomorrow. Much love to all of you. Big thanks. Big thanks to Kim's. Have a great night. Sleep well, rest well. Bulls, Bears. We're all Lions. Dashboard, dashboard, dashboard. Stream schedule's there. Yeah. All right. Good night. Big cheers. Shout out to PSG. Calling noob. Love ya. Yeah, Mark.